Hello, and once again, welcome back to Hate Mail. This is now post the Kokomo Con thing going on, and I had a great time. If you couldn't tell from the multitude of little mini videos that I posted up, um, tons of vendors, tons of booths. Heck, the Batmobile was there. A replica of one of the original, the Adam West era, open-topped Batmobiles. And the guys who made it was there. I wish I would have interviewed him. Now that I think about it, thinking back on it, man, it's television. I should have frickin' interviewed the Batmobile guys, but I'm stupid. It's okay. But actually, of all this stuff, because I was broke, I only bought one thing, and that was a little drawing of Rogue, who's my favorite, one of my favorite comic book characters. Um, Drawn by the peeps at Sweet Beat. So check out Sweet Beat at sweetbeat.smackjeeves.com. And they have little kind of anime-esque, lot of character in their little drawings. So that was my besides food, my one and only purchase at Kokomo Con. Also, just another shout out to Just Plain Paul, and I wish he'd done this on camera because it'd been cool to see me. He's like, he gave me, after the interview, the album, Data of the East Accolade, and I've been listening to it. It's pretty cool. Also, pro tip, for those of you who have this album, if you're going to put it on your iPod or something, rip it to your hard drive through the iTunes software. That way it will load the track listings and the album art. So when you go to dump it on your iPod, all the track listings and the album art will be there. So pro tip, so there you go. But the main focus of this particular episode, let me do the card maneuver here, is my review of Distilled Productions' Iceberg Theory. Actually, I've already done this review on my little phone here, because the phone has a camcorder function. I just bought this phone. It has even advertised on the box, upload to YouTube. Well, I did that, and there was no sound. There's sound on here, but there's no sound when you go, thanks Virgin Mobile, I love you. But, so actually I just got done watching this again to kind of remind myself what I'd said. It's actually been a couple days now since the con. I got all my swag here that I picked up. Thanks, Booth Babe. Woo, swag. Plus now I have more things to throw. Rage! Yeah! So, anyway, that felt good, by the way. So, anyway, Distill Productions, it's just a bunch of kids, really. I'm not saying that to add or detract from their accomplishments, but I just realized, wow, they're a bunch of kids. And they've put together a movie called Iceberg Theory. And I interviewed them earlier. If you've watched the show, you've already seen the interview here. And I promised them I would watch the movie, and then I would review it. I did that. Didn't work, so we're doing it again. So this is, and I'm thinking about this. This show, I've just said, is we're reviewing television shows and related things, movies and related things, and games. I have yet to do a movie review. This is my first movie review. And this is their first movie, my first review, a little bit of karma there, a little bit of, I don't know, take what you will from that. But going into it, of course, I mean, I hate things. I've been betrayed by the Hollywood. There's been very few good movies out there. But actually, so going in, I saw a little clip from it. It looked kind of interesting. I saw some stuff that very cool. And I'm sitting through and I'm seeing it, and I realize this is a character study. which is one of my favorite types of movies. One of my favorite movies of all time is Good Night and Good Luck. That story is completely character driven. It's all about the characters and how they move through the story. And this is kind of like that, only instead of it being, it's a very cerebral movie. So if you're looking for like a slam bang action chops, and wrong movie, go see something else. Well, no, see this movie, it's good. Um, but emergency food supply, ladies and gentlemen. But as I'm watching the movie, I was getting a really strong kind of Secret Window. That movie with Johnny Depp got that kind of vibe to it. And also, and I was trying to think of the name of the movie when I was doing a review on the cell phone camera. But another kind of a vibe I got to it from was a little touch of American Psycho. So if you're into that type of movie, or you like either one of those two, heck, I even got, and you're Silent Hill. Yes, well, I know. So, but it's not a horror movie, though it does have some horrible elements. It's a horrible, no, horror elements to it, suspense and things like that. And there are there are a couple jump scares in it. I don't like jump scares myself, but they pulled it off pretty good. Um, and as it's going through, some of the way they deal with the characters. I mean, the main character's name is Isaac. I can't remember the rest of the characters. It's been a while since I saw the movie. Um, but he's actually a kind of a relatable character. The actor playing him did a very good job. I mean, this is their first movie, and I was telling them though, I actually got to shake their hands as I'm coming out of the theater and talking to them. This whole thing is one hell of a first effort. So, you know, once again, going through the character Isaac. Basically, he's a writer who won a contest, which basically a publishing company says, okay, we're going to basically publish your book for free, but we have you on a deadline, just so the winner of this contest won't basically abuse the privilege and just keep stringing them along because publishing a book and setting up the showing off of the thing when it's done and things like that costs money. I mean, so people's time and things like that. So he's got this deadline. It's a funny little thing. As I'm thinking about it, as I'm watching, I actually talked to them after the show about this because they had sort of, from when I was reading and when I was talking to them, they actually set themselves a sort of a deadline of 1 year. I think it was the previous Kokomo Con that they actually started to work on it. And I asked him, it's like, well, how much is this the deadline? Is that to real life? And the director told me he was doing the final renders the night before, or the night, I think it was the night before the Kokomo Con. Damn. Balls on this guy. Yeah. So, but they pulled it off, and once again, as the movie progresses, what it's dealing with is a lot of psychological concepts. And like I said, this is a kind of a cerebral movie, but not in so much as you have to have a working knowledge of higher learning to understand it. For those of you who don't know things about psychology, the id, the ego, the superego, things like that, what it's going to appear to you as, yes, this guy's talking to himself. Through large portions of the movie, he's basically arguing with himself, personified in two different characters. And one of them appears as kind of a weak, kind of faltering, fading, good angel. It's how he's going to appear to the normal, your normal viewer. And on the other hand is this seemingly as the character is introduced and as it's going on, you're not really sure what this character represents, but as it goes on, you see her kind of develop more of a fang to her character, and pretty soon it's very obvious that she is, pouring poisoned honey into his ear. The things that she's talking to him about, and she appears as it goes on to be more of a devilish, the devil character, and so you're going to see that little interplay of man discussing with his angel and his demon about as he's going through this situation that he's in, which is why I get the kind of the secret window kind of American Psycho. Obviously there's something not right with this guy. There's no. I'm not giving away any secrets to the movie here. I'm not spoiling anything. This guy's basically talking to himself, and they kind of imply through flashes that things are happening, but you're not sure because they don't really go through and prove those things. So it's left a little ambiguous. So you're having to think about those things. When's this going to come back? When's this going to? And another thing, I know I'm kind of going one thing to another. I actually talked to the composer, the guy who did the music, and the soundtrack is a major part of this film. It's kind of, as I was discussing with the guy, with the composer, mood through music. The music sets the tone and actually carries the mood through several scenes, because through the first part of the movie especially, you're going through several different areas that the characters are interacting in, and yet because of the way they dealt with the music, it feels very, I don't want to say linear, but the flow is very good from scene to scene to scene, where it's not actually, it's not like it's jarring, the visuals, but obviously we're going to different places here, here, and here, and yet because of the music, you get a kind of a, yes, we are flowing through the movie, which is a good thing. A lot of people don't get, put it this way, like Back to the Future, great movie. If Back to the Future hadn't had that kick-ass, bombastic soundtrack, it wouldn't have been half the movie that everyone remembers. Put it this way. Put in a scene of Back to the Future, like an action scene or something leading up to an action scene, and take the music out. It takes away something from the film. And then if you put that back in, heck, you can even listen to just the soundtrack only and get kind of a feel of what's going on in that movie. But anyway, back to this movie. They did a very good job of placing music. Very simplistic, not simplistic, but minimalist kind of a score through the whole thing. Which this is actually a very minimalist production. Granted, there's probably zero or no budget. This being a very independent film, basically put on by students. And I was telling them, it's like, even with this knowledge, I was telling the people, I was like, wow, you guys beat the Twilight Saga, you beat the Star Wars prequels. Of course, that isn't saying much, but once again, I'm not trying to damn them with faint praise there. I'm just saying, these guys are getting what the bigs aren't. The story, characters, arc. If you don't give us these things, we're left kind of floundering in our seats going, what's going on? I don't know. Oh my God. And going on, let's see what else. There was I'm going to have to watch this again and see, because I'm forgetting things now. But I would have liked to have seen more, because like I said, major portions of him basically hailing it himself. More kind of back to the reality of life, because there are fairly longish portions where you're seeing nothing but him babbling through the characters, basically having a discussion with himself, and sometimes it seemed to go on a little long, as far as that goes. Not that it was bad, but probably It wasn't like we get it, he's crazy, but they probably could have shortened up some areas and lengthened some of the areas, in like between the second and third act kind of area of going back to reality. Reality, and heck, throw in a red herring, just throw something in there. Which there were a couple red herrings in there. But as the movie went on, um, and once again, Leonard Pig, I think that's how you say his name, Pig. Um, I'm going to call bullshit because I'm betting, I said this was no production, no budget. I bet you there was a huge budget, and I know where it went. The special effects that made Leonard Pig so frickin' awesome, because no mortal man can be that awesome in a bit part without some digital enhancement. I'm guessing there's some digital trickery going on, like this cat right here. I used all of my special effects budget to make it look like he's kneading dough with this pillow right here. Really, there's nothing there. So, kind of example to you. So, anyway, um, basic impressions of the movie. It's their first movie and nailed it. Good film, good characters. I mean, and I'll tell you, one of my favorite stories. Some of you may or may not be familiar with the anime called Death Note. Um, it was really popular a while back, and actually, watching it, the animation not that great, but it wasn't about the animation. It was about the characters and the story, and especially the main character's normal guy starting out, going through his daily routine, and through happenstance and circumstance, slowly descends into madness. And I find that kind of story very appealing, and this is what I got with the Iceberg Theory movie. I really enjoyed the ride and the complete picture we got with the characters, the acting, the scenery, the music, all went together very well. Um, I mean, and one of my favorite movies of all time is also an independent film. A film called Ink. I know I've plugged it on my personal page several times. I might have to do a review of it on my show here. I don't know because I probably won't because at some point I'm gonna be having to do the obligatory top 10 films of my top 10 films. So it's gonna be one of those. This movie called Ink. You can see it on Hulu and you can see it on Netflix. So if you've got Netflix, you can watch it. If you don't have any kind of go on the internet, look up Hulu, look up Ink. Great film. Completely independent film. These guys are basically doing it in their houses and in the streets around their houses. One of the best films I've ever seen. Completely independent. Watching it, it's an amateur film, like the film I'm reviewing now, Iceberg Theory. But these guys put their hearts into it and pulled off something wonderful. And this movie here, Iceberg Theory, I believe does that as well. So basically what I'm saying, Iceberg Theory is a pretty good movie. And considering the fact that this is their first movie ever, like everyone involved with this project, I believe, except maybe one person, it's just, you watch this and you have this feeling that, if these guys keep going as they are, we're going to continue to see great things from them because they're going to learn from whatever mistakes that they made. There were some editing errors in the movie. I can't really tell if there was any sound quality issues because where they were showing the movie wasn't really designed to have movies played in it. Normally a theater has, soundproof kind of sound deadening walls and some, carpeted floor. And we were in a room with flat walls that reverberated everything, a tile floor with metal chairs. So the music, which was also kind of sort of monotone in some areas, starts reverberating around the room, and some of the dialogue you couldn't hear. Not the fault of the movie, it was the fault of the room that we were in. So, but that was my only real problem with that movie. Some editing errors, some things that went on a little bit longer than they could have. But all in all, a great effort. I expect to see other great and wonderful things coming from these folks. So definitely, if you guys are watching this, keep your eye on Distilled Productions. And as I understand it, um, I think it's now available to be pre-ordered on DVD and I think Blu-ray. Cool. So I would watch this movie again. So if that tells you anything, for those of you who know me and who know how I like my films, if I like something, I'll watch it again. I'd watch this movie again. So, yeah, Iceberg Theory, good film. So thanks again for watching us here at Hate Mail. If you're seeing this on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button above. If you've come across us on Facebook, be sure to like us at Hate Mail on Facebook. And I will be posting in the comments here on YouTube and on the fan page for Hate Mail. I'll be posting links to both Distilled Productions and to the Iceberg Theory page on Facebook, so you guys can find out more information, find out how to order the movie. And so there you go. Good job, guys, and have fun out there.